So this is my first solo movie vlog on YouTube, and it's a Spider-Man movie. But it's not just another Spider-Man movie. Like, Into the Spider-Verse is so amazing that it might just be my favorite superhero film of all time. And the reason I say that is because it moved me in a way other superhero films of the past 10 years haven't done. And I think the reason why is because it dives into the heart of what Stan Lee and Steve Ditko first had in mind when they created this character back in the 60s. Like, there's so much of source material that they dive from, and they use that to their advantage to tell a story about, what it's like to be Spider-Man, what he represents to so many fans out there. And it makes so much sense now when I think about it, because I have this book, The Ultimate Guide to Spider-Man, and Stan Lee wrote the foreword to this. And I didn't read this until the passing of Stan recently, but reading this, it just makes so much sense why people love Spider-Man more than any other superhero. Like, why he's my favorite comic book superhero of all time. Because, and I might be paraphrasing, but the reason why he has such an lasting impact was because he's the most realistic out of all the superheroes that we've read or seen. Like, all the personal problems that we all deal with, Spider-Man deals with. Like, take this movie, Miles Morales and Peter Parker, they're both Spider-Men. Like, they're both heroes who wear the same mask, but that's not what makes them similar. What makes them similar is that, they deal with real life situations. Like the Miles Morales in this movie, he is starting a new school. He's, trying to find himself. He can only talk to his uncle about things rather than his parents. And Peter Parker in this movie, and I'm talking about the Peter Parker that helps mentor Miles, he's in a low point in his life. He's an adult, and things aren't going too well for him in terms of his relationships. And all of that we deal with, from when we're teenagers to adulthood. We have the same problems these two have. And not to mention all the other spider heroes. Like, we see something in Miles. We see something in Peter. We also see something in Spider-Gwen. Spider-Man Noir even. Hell, even Spider-Ham and that anime's Spider-Girl. Like we relate to all of them because, they all, dealt with similar problems. And, the fact that we follow Miles' story along with these other spider heroes, and, we all are motivating each other. We all are bringing each other back up while they're down. And we all have the same mentor figure we can always go to for help. Like, that was a really good, that was a really good turn from the other movies. Like, we have the character of Aunt May in the universe that the film is taking place in, and she is the one who is helping all the spider heroes out. And that was so awesome because, you know, it felt like you know, like a Zordon moment from Power Rangers. You know, you all have something in common, and I think that's what makes you so great in, like, Behind the Mask. And, you know, you're all devoting yourself to doing good under the circumstances you're dealing with. And, you know, that's what we got from this Aunt May character. And not to mention, like, this amount of heart that went into this, it doesn't, you know, fluctuate between the humor and the action. You know, it's a part of that humor and the action. Like the fan service moments, they feel like something, you know, very reflective of of why, you know, this character of Spider-Man, or the symbol, you know, really resounds with so many people, whether in real life or fiction. And, I mean, that's kind of why I love this Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because, you know, it's talking about us. You know, it's not talking just about a symbol. It's talking about regular people and, you know, how similar we are, you know, for our love of something, or, you know, our interest in this thing, which just so happens to be, you know, a superhero, or just being a hero. You know, it's, you know, we're not on the outside looking in like we are in Homecoming. We're, you know, we're not trying to make sense of our role in a bigger conspiracy like in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And I guess we're not, I don't know, part of a, I don't know, I guess we're not, you know, we're not part of like this more exciting, I don't know, but like it's, I guess the way it differs from more Spider-Man movies is that, you know, not only it has all these characters, but they all have a different story, yet they all can come together. And I think, you know, that's all the same for any circle of friends, you know, any group that you organize. I feel like, you know, that there's one thing that unifies all the members of that. And, you know, the fact that it's animated even, like, it's not just, you know, animated, but I think the animation is so spectacular that it becomes part of that world that it's talking about. It becomes part of the bigger picture. Again, pun intended. Because Into the Spider-Verse is talking about a bigger universe that's not just ours. You know, it doesn't talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not talking about the Sam Raimi universe. It's talking about all the Spider-Man in all its eras. You know, from, you know, even classic 60s. Like, there is a post-credit scene that you definitely want to stick out for, that I think, that I believe, like, shows the, like, how far we've come since the creation of Spider-Man. How far we've come in terms of, you know, superheroes. And I mean, I genuinely love this movie because it's talking about us. It's talking about our idols. It's talking about our similarities, our differences, our problems, our successes. And you know, superhero films usually are either about people you look up to and people you relate to. You know, it's either you know the DC ones where they're larger than life, or Marvel where you can really, you know, come into contact with them. This movie just shows that you can actually be a superhero. And I don't think we haven't seen that. If we have, it's not as powerful of a message as it is in Into the Spider-Verse.